next speaker is Professor Amado. Professor Amado is an associate professor with habilitation in architecture at the Institute at the University of Lisbon, where he teaches design studio in master's course for architecture. He's a member of the Civil Engineering Research and Innovation for Sustainability, receiving a PhD in environmental engineering in 2004. Please welcome with me, Professor Miguel Amado.
Good morning for everybody. Thanks again for the invitation and the challenge that talk about the research group of GEOTPU.LAB. We are a small group of the research, split and spread around the world, and our focus is more related with the improve of sustainable development with focus in sustainable development objectives of United Nations. And we are focused in the capacitation of present and actual organizations with the interventions of future generations. So we are working with students almost all the time. The group has been created in 2005. We have the ambitions to have a training center of excellence with focus in sustainable development through a lot of ways, different ways. But normally we have focused to transform informal territories into formal territories. So with a strong multidisciplinarity, we have spread our interventions around the world, and all the works, all the research, all the actions have the student as a central figure in all the projects. There are no training, there are no capacitation without students, and not only Portuguese students, but students from several parts of the globe. This is several images. One of is in Portugal, the other is in East Timor, where students go there and work with local students to the transformation of the natural environmental, and also improve the generations of future research and future workers. The lab also conducts research about development of knowledge, and also with different methodologies. We think that through the research focus in housing and also now in the rehabilitation, we can provide new conditions to the better world and with a better conservation of natural resources. Also, we make a mix of the integration, not only architects, but also engineers, doctors, physics, and mechanics. We have everybody, every different disciplinary areas of the universities where we are working through the same teams. We, until now, the last 20 years, about 20 years, 70, we already have intervention in several parts of the globe, as I already said. And we develop different projects in planning, projects in housing, projects in the research, and also projects in prototypes. And with these projects, I go show you several images about what we are doing. Urban planning, this is Guinea-Bissau, where we are transforming the informal settlements to the formal settlements with the simple drawings, and with the implementation of what we call technical wall. This is an image that we have done in East Timor last years. and where we, through the master plan, we solve the anticipation problems that we can find for the high rise of the level of the sea, what happens to the local population that have been constrained for more than 20 years from the Indonesia government that occupy the region, and the people lost several skills, several capacities, and also the nutrition problems need to be solve it. And with the master plan, we can have, with the regulation, some solutions to that. In Luanda, we have been there for more than 8 years, make interventions in urban planning, housing models, and also environmental issues. In Portugal, we have also students define what is the evolution and the rehabilitation of several settlements. In Cabo Verde, where the students go and create a very, very close connection with the local people to discuss the sustainability of the future of these informal settlements, where people take place, and where with several participation models we find what they need, what they are their expectations, and how we can capacitate local entities to reply, to answer of the necessities of the people. Several islands in the Cabo Verde, we also do what we call create the local areas to produce food for the future, and also to preserve water, because some of the islands in Cape Verde don't have potable water. So we need to create some strategies to preserve that. Angola, also the transformation of informal settlements into formal settlements, with focus on public spaces, and also a reinterpretation of unity of the neighborhoods, to avoid more cars and to have everything around the 50 minutes of the distance. In India, research of the Goa, where through the definition of what kind of the time we can go by foot, what can occupation we do, what is the capacity and the density, things we have necessity to have green areas to produce food, also farming, and so market, temple, and community. This kind of the research focus also in housing, where the students go to the locals, to the sites, and with the local students they build and they try to understand what is the best relation of the areas and plots to solve. They produce some models. These models are replied, sometimes like Cabo Verde, they has been accepted by public entities and they promote the occupation of the land. In East Timor, for along 1 year, several groups of students work there and create skills, capacity, organization, and build projects. Also give formation to everybody from the region, because they missing a lot of simple skills. And also the housing model to East Timor in the region of Oekusi. This is image of local material supply to making housing according the necessity and expectation of the people. The same in Angola, in the region around the Luanda city, also the settlement of Goa again, and this is an evolutionary model where related to with the dimension of the family and the passing time, the housing can be improved, it can be developed and is adapted to the necessity of the family, and also take in account the quality of the environmental, where we reserve the water, where we treat the wastewater, and so on. The prototype we intend, and we are already implemented in the two countries, is for all. And for all, where and why we do it. We're gonna do it by a wall. And this wall, I'm gonna pass the slides.
Nowadays, we observe a rapid economic and demographic growth in developing countries, such as Africa, which makes it difficult to implement a structured spatial planning model. Do you know what was the populational growth in Africa during the last 5 decades? 600 million people. And what about the expectable populational growth until 2050? 3 billion. This growth leads to the emergence of informal settlements without infrastructure, slowing the development of societies and contributing to increased poverty. Because of the lack of investment capacity from public entities, the construction of infrastructures is assumed by households, local groups, or informal organizations. The solution is adopted to compromise the environment, public health, and the quality of the urban space. So, what is the solution? The development of housing as a generative element of new urban areas, with the incorporation of a technical wall. And what is the technical wall? A prefabricated structural wall that functions as a technical core of infrastructures and from which a dwelling can be developed. It provides sewer, water, electricity, gas, ventilation, and telecommunications. What are the advantages? Flexibility, allowing the development of housing in urban perimeters according to the infrastructure's networks. Control of the occupation of the territory and the identification of the consumers. Prefabrication and standardization. Affordable housing programs. And this is GEOTPU.LAB.
And this research and this prototype has developed with the students in the Instituto Superior Técnico in Portugal. We create a model, a prototype, and after that we implemented. This is the transformation of the informal settlements in the phase 1 until the phase 5, where the housing models organize and structure the territory, avoid appears in areas without infrastructures in the future. This is a scheme of the occupation that we already developed according the unity of the neighborhood, to allow to have schools, medical system, and also open space and medical assistance. Also, these phasings can be developed and avoid that people are using and don't have control of the use of power energy and also the water. So we know who are in each plot and each time is a way to sustainable development, be more knowledge, be more controlled the occupation of the land, to avoid we lost all the rural areas without control. This is a simple model of the housing applied to East Timor, and also the research. with the students, we participate in several international projects who finance us to make the other approach with in developing countries with the Portuguese language official. So with this, we do a lot of formations. We have a new PhD from Africa, from Asia, and also we relate and link public health to the urban planning and housing models. And this is the new research, is a PhD also with international financial project for European community to build with hood. And so this is what normal and the last times we are doing. We have a lot of publication of made by the students' works. This is a book of East Timor, very interesting book for teaching how to make sustainable development through the teaching of architectural students. The others is in Cabo Verde. This one is in Portugal, Almada, and also sustainable construction. These are in Portuguese. How to transform today's cities, and also the last one, energy, sustainable energy to transition in cities. This last book is available in the internet in the Sustainable Development Goals as a free resource. You can have these two books, these two chapters, the 2 and 9, and the 9 is very open because it's also important for public entities, for companies, how to transform the actual urban spaces in more green spaces. And thank you for your attention, and I am available to reply any query if you have it.
Someone asked the question, do you have PhD opportunities for African students?
Yes, we have in the moment 5 PhD students work in the group, 2 and also 2 from Asia. One from China and one from India. They're going to start in next year with us, or be already being accepted. And everybody is welcome. Okay.
Okay. Another question, what can you suggest to the government in developing societies to help in this challenging ecological movement?
Oh, it's a very important question. I think the most challenge is to create well-being for everybody. It's difficult. We have only one planet. We cannot imagine we go everybody to Mars. So we need to do what we need to do here in planet Earth. So the challenge is education, first one. Education, sensibilization, involve and create a more balance, general women's and men's at the same time, have the same roles, have the same contributions, to find in the family the link to involve and to pressure the political entities to make the right things. The money is a problem, but also ecological problems, we have it. If you imagine what are the area around the globe going to disappear because the water of the sea going to take place where people live, where people work, where people produce his foods. So this is the challenge. The challenge we need to create a transformation, and we're gonna have only this transformation if the future generation are aware and with skills and capacity to transform the options in the decision moments.
Okay, so Prof, we've asked that you kindly share your contacts. I mean, I'm guessing that some of your potential PhD students are in the audience.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you again, Prof.
Okay.
Thank you.